Hi, everybody. Welcome again. I'm Marianne,
And I am Gary.
and we are continuing our journey with Forever, a Catholic devotional for your marriage. I always forget that last part. By Jackie Francois and Bobby Angel. And so, week 2 is What is Love? And today we are focusing on day 1, which is I love nachos and I love you. And we love you too, John Paul. Okay, so today's challenge is
Oh, okay. Ask your spouse if he or she has ever struggled to be on the same page with another person's love in a past relationship. Why do you think it's so hard for love to be communicated effectively? And I think in most of my past relationships, um, I don't think the one part that I would struggle with is it's not so much meeting the person, but then continuing uh, a healthy relationship with that person. I didn't understand like what true love uh, is. I didn't or was, however. Um, yeah, because growing up, my parents divorced, and then so I didn't really have like a good like father figure to introduce me to what real love is, especially in a relationship, especially in a marriage with a husband and wife, or even just like to start a relationship leading to marriage. At the same time, with my mom, God bless her, but it was she was very like busy being a single mom, and then she never really had the time for those important conversations, well, with myself in particular, just to how to grow up, important like lessons as far as like love and relationships and stuff like that. And then it just came to a point where I just was so independent growing up that I didn't even like think to seek or to find or to learn how to love. So, and I think back as I think about this question, just like how can I have learned how to love instead of trying to figure it out on the go? Because basically, I think that's what it was. We think, or I thought I knew what love is like through TV and movies and stuff like that, but then, that was just all false. And then so that kind of led to like a very corrupted idea of what love is. So then that just kind of led to broken relationships. And that's where I would be in a relationship, but then I wouldn't be on the same page because then I just didn't know what to do. It was very superficial, very self-centered. And then so it was more like I was thinking about myself through those times instead of thinking about the other person in the relationship. And then so I think that's where all those relationships have failed. And I look back and I'm like, okay, well, if I even just thought about it, I could like studied about being in relationships or even just kind of looked into my Catholic faith. But by then, like junior high, high school, into college, I was just the fact that I was just drifting away from God and the faith. Though I was going to church, but I wasn't present in church, so to speak. Going to mass, going to Sunday mass, but I'm not present. So like my faith was weak, and then my relationship with God was weak, and then so if I were to be in a relationship, it's weak because I'm just clueless then. So I think from those failures, then God blessed me with another opportunity, but then first like to build my spiritual relationship with God first, with Jesus first, and then that kind of led to my relationship with Marianne. So and I feel like I'm better as a person in a relationship to demonstrate that sacrificial love, to like give myself, like to sacrifice myself first for the better of our relationship, put Marianne first as much as possible, and then put the kids first, put the family first before me. So that's how it was different then than it is now. And yeah, I mean, can't live in regret, and it was in the past, but could only learn so that I can be better. I can only learn so I can be better and I think this relationship is benefiting from my past mistakes because I'm learning from it, and I'm staying close to God so that this relationship works.
I've had a lot of relationships end on a very sour note because many of them were Eros relationships, but I had my heart in it, and eventually the guy placed his heart somewhere else. And I was always left brokenhearted, but then I would never fight for it because I realized, well, you know what, if he doesn't really want to be with me and he found somebody better than me, then he should be happy, and I'm just going to let him go. And it was fine. But there was one particular friendship that I had. I was a junior in high school, and there was this guy that I got really close to. We became good friends, and I really liked him a whole lot. My friends and my sisters would always ask me, like, so what's going on with you guys? And I would say, oh, we're just friends, you know, and everybody knew that I wanted to have a relationship with this guy. And I think he did too. I think he knew that. And one day he explained to me that he really appreciated our friendship. I knew that he had a lot of respect for me as a friend, which I truly appreciated. And he was honest, and he told me, because of the kind of life that I live, it's really best that, you know, we are friends, because he was afraid that his lifestyle and the things that he was involved in would actually negatively affect me, which took a lot of courage, I think, to be able to talk to a girl that way and to just tell me straight up, because the other guys weren't able to do that. I still, you know, to this day appreciate that conversation that I had with my friend. But because I didn't understand the different forms of love and how important it was to take each form of love as a gift from God, from storge to philia to eros to agape, my version in my head of love was also very distorted. And so after all of those times where I just felt really, I don't know, like disconnected from the truth of it all, I got really jaded. So by the time I met Gary, and he's wanting to give me agape love because he knew that I was sick with lupus and that there's no cure and someday things could look really bad health-wise with me, he was willing to face a future of questions that didn't have immediate answers, and he didn't know what it was going to be like, but he was still choosing me, and I didn't know what to do with that. The day that you told me that you love me, it was like, I think it was April, and we had started our courtship that January midnight. Well, yeah, December 31st, 2004. And it was April 2005, and then Gary is holding me and he says, I love you. And I just looked at you and I said, thank you. Because I didn't know, I didn't know if I had that same agape in my heart for him that he had for me. And I eventually said it, I don't think that long after, maybe like a month later or something like that. And you were so happy. You're like, oh my gosh, you said I love you. So it's been quite a journey for both of us, but me especially for the healing of my heart to take place, and also to not think of myself first, and to look at my husband and appreciate and acknowledge and understand that you have feelings too. That it's not just about me and my emotions and what I want, but also meeting his needs on so many different levels. So I'm really grateful that that we've gone through the journey that we have together, and that all the brokenness is in the past. You know, that we've decided, you know what, we're not going to let it affect our marriage. There have been certain times where I think more on my part that my old wounds have been triggered, and I didn't really know what to do with the pain that would resurface. But for us to come back and have pretty regular conversations about the importance of our marriage and how we need to guard it and protect it and nurture it so that it will thrive, and just be a really great model and example for our children. That's really our priority right now, which is why we are still continuing this journey for our kids. No matter what vocation that they're being called to, it's important for them to see what healthy relationships are like, right? You know, like, because our marriage is really grounded in friendship, because we did have a friendship first, very strong philia relationship, and the friendship is still strong.
Yeah.
Like the romance, it comes and goes, you know, depending on how much time we have. But I always told Gary, you know, you're a really great friend to me. You are, and you always listen to me whenever I need you to listen to me, even if you're tired and it's like 1:30 in the morning and I'm crying, and you know, you're still there for me, and you always give me really good advice. There could be situations that I might bring up to you that could turn into a drama-filled situation, but you always take a look at it from an objective point of view and just say, okay, well, if this is it, then this is what you should do. And you're not all like messy with it. So I really appreciate that, because it just shows how the progression of our friendship, or our pen palship, that was the foundation of our friendship, and then for it to turn into like the courtship, where we understood that the friendship was being moved into by God, really, to a deeper level where we needed to discern marriage, but also to guard our hearts and to guard each other, and to understand, you know what, this may or may not end up forever, but I'm going to respect you and who you are, and honor the person that God made you to be, including your body. Like, that was really important. Yeah, I've never experienced the depth of love to this degree, and that's why I said yes. Well, I said okay at first. I said I do. And then every time we have a child, I mean, I just look at that baby and am in such awe, because each child is a fruit of our marriage and the love that God has really placed in our hearts for each other. So yeah, that's it. You know, this has been really great to really think about and reflect honestly, including experiences in our past and how they've affected us today.
Maybe for those that don't know, can you quickly explain the 4 degrees of love, like the
Oh yes. Okay. So day 1 for today, and here come all the kids. Okay.
Here comes the lesson, kids.
Yes. Okay. So there are 4 types of love. In English, we only have one word, and that is love. But it's like, I love. You could love anything. Like in the title, it's I love nachos. Well, for me, I love boba. Love boba. And I love my husband. But I don't love boba in the same degree that I love my husband or my kids. And so it's a different that you experience. And so the Greeks have the 4 different names for the 4 different types. Okay, so storge is familial relationship. That's like all of this right here that you see. And then philia is deep friendship.
It's on your face.
Eros, sit down.
Oh my gosh. Sit down,
Please
dude.
sit down.
Fall.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Eros is romantic relationship, and then agape is really the love that God shows for all of us, is that sacrificial love, which we are really called to share with each other, especially in marriage. So that's it. Those are the 4.
So we repeat again. Storge.
Storge,
Which is
family love. Philia is friendship love. Eros is romantic love. And agape is sacrificial love. If you're watching this, you happen to catch this, and you still haven't gotten the book, Amazon.com or Pauline Books and Media. Look up Forever, a Catholic devotional for your marriage. There you go.
Oh,
Okay. Bye, everybody. Say bye.
Bye.